Shout out to Lane Kiffin for being a really big savage. So, Kenny,
Petty Piper. Rowdy Petty Piper.
Are you going to give me a take or a tangent on the Tennessee?
I'm giving a tangent because this is where pettiness is deserved. Tennessee tried to hire Greg Schiano, who was trash at Rutgers. He was decent at Rutgers after Ray Rice. He didn't have anybody, and we know how that turned out. A bunch of those guys ended up going to New England, and, well, Rutgers has been trash for a while, including Maryland, which is actually it's sad to me because they have better talent. But in this case, he went to Tampa Bay, was trash head coach at Tampa Bay. Shout out to Dirk Cutter, by the way. Trash as a head coach, but Lovie Smith got screwed over, and now he's stuck at Fledgling, Illinois. But anyway, and yes, Dirk Cutter was the head coach at Arizona State. If anybody didn't know that, I tied it all together. All right. The point simply is... Damn, I kind of forgot it. Oh, wait, I'm back now. All right.
So that sounds like a good tangent.
No, the tangent... the point of the tangent is simply put...
He doesn't even know his point anymore.
That's like the third time
gives you CTE, and that's why we're both here.
What was the original question? Because I had the answer, and I'm like, damn, I just went down my own rabbit hole. But no, seriously, what was your question?
You were telling me about Tennessee. I asked you to give me a
tip. Oh, yeah. There we go. I almost lost it. So, Dave Dorn, the head coach of North Carolina State, he was the latest person to reject Tennessee. And now they're looking at, I guess, like Willie Taggart. You got Jimbo Fisher at Florida State. Trying to figure out if he's going to stay at Florida State or go to Texas A&M, who just fired Kevin Sumlin. That was my point. Kevin Sumlin could go to Tennessee. I feel like that's the best option. He's proven he can get 5-star recruits. He's proven he can transform a program. He did it at Houston. He did it at Texas A&M. That's why they're going to have a ton of talent for the next 5 or 6 years. And he could go to Tennessee with all the talent that's there. I'm pretty sure that's
a take, though. Just so you know.
But This is a tangent because I talked about like 12 different people. I didn't get straight to the point. The point of this tangent is that Tennessee has to do something it might not want to do, and that's hire a black head coach. Bomb dropped? Yes.
All right.
Don't hire T. Martin. I don't care if he led Tennessee to a national title after Peyton Manning left, and now he's the offensive coordinator at USC and one of the best recruiters in the nation. Hire Kevin Sumlin. Make Texas Tech mad as hell, and make Tennessee Texas A&M games petty as hell because they're both in the SEC. I want to see Kevin Sumlin at Tennessee, and I just want to see it. And Greg Schiano sucks as a head coach anywhere. Stick to the defensive line at Ohio State where they get 5-star talents. You don't really coach them up that great. That's my tangent.
That was actually a take, but all right. So
we can agree to disagree.
I guess I'll ask myself about Eli Manning since you really just gave us your whole show and died.
I gave you a spirit bomb, dog. What else you want from me?
Eli Manning, the legend, the Brady killer, 2-time Super Bowl champion, younger brother of Peyton, son of Archie,
brother of Cooper, the shooter, soon to be shooter.
Long time, only time Giants QB, was benched for Geno. Inherited the butt fumble thrown.
Geno Smith. He went to West Virginia and he put up 70 points on Clemson.
So yeah, Geno Smith is now officially the Giants' starting quarterback, and Davis Webb is his backup. And Eli Manning is running scout team. So,
who, by the way, Davis Webb went to Texas Tech and then transferred to Cal.
My take on this is that the Giants are really showing that they're willing to just get it over with, ending the Manning era. I think they probably should have cut him and let him get a chance to go somewhere else if they're going to make him run scout team. But I guess they probably wanted to get some sort of draft pick from him, so he'll probably end up in Jacksonville or Denver or
Arizona. Because Bruce Arians is a QB whisperer.
But
and Carson Palmer's not a Hall of Famer.
Eli Manning is one of the most competitive players, and to see him kind of go through this, it's just like disrespectful, and it makes me feel old. So there you go. All right, last topic, because we have to talk about this topic.
I root my heart for Eli. New York is trash how it treats its quarterbacks. Buffalo and the Giants.
We've always talked about... I want to talk about this because throughout the show, one of the most topical things week to week has always been Kaepernick, the protests, things like that. So there's a whole nother development from the protests and the dialogue between the players and the owners. Owners basically offered up, $89 million?
$89 million over 7 years. Starts at $5 million a year and then increases to
for the athletes.
Maxes out at $12 million
for the athletes, organizations, outreach, and
law enforcement programs, community training programs.
Basically, some of the things the players asked for.
And some stuff that maybe some of these owners who might be racist potentially could just funnel money into a police force.
So
that's very well it looks like.
That's Kenny's take on it.
That's my perspective.
My take on it is it's not hush money if you make sure that it always keeps coming, I guess.
Yeah.
For me. So I feel like if they can get a yearly commitment for as long as the NFL is going, 1% or whatever, lump sum, I think that's an easy enough thing for an organization to do. I think it needs to be more than $10 million, and it needs to be longer than 8 years.
7 years.
The NFL has a PR, crisis right now. I think they do a lot of community work, so I'm sure they already do give a lot of money. But I think they can always give more, considering they're a nonprofit organization. I'm sure they could give more to their players' organizations and their players' initiatives. I don't feel like that's asking a lot, especially considering there's a lot of people pissed off about the protests. And whether or not you agree, it's something the NFL and the players could easily figure out. And I'm not saying that the players should stop doing it, but I'm just saying the NFL needs to do their part of hearing out the players. Because that's really what it comes down to, right?
On top of that, because of the $89 million, only half of that $89 million is actually going to like a players' initiative fund, and then the owners still have to agree to the part where the players split the pot to help pay for some of the stuff.
So my take is it needs to be like maybe 25, 50, 100 a season at least. Start at 100, maybe settle at 50.
$100 million though.
So
they would laugh you out the room. $100 million a year.
25, 50. NFL has money.
We know that,
especially because most of these stadiums are publicly funded. I don't feel like that's. They need to be giving more money.
Owners are cheap. They're not gonna plug in, and it's not like they're rebuilding the communities that.
Some of them do.
Some of them do.
A lot of them do. A lot of teams do a lot of community work, but that's because they have to.
Yeah. But
now
they could be building
you can give up more.
Daycare centers and they could be. Yeah. They could always be doing more, but some people may feel it's bribe money. Some people are already mad at the coalition that helped put this together. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Okay,
so let's close it out. Last 5 minutes of the show. This is our dedicated segment. Shout out to Wheezy. Dedication 6 coming out. Basically, it's a tribute to Unnecessary Toughness, the podcast that we once wore. That we once, founded. It's basically just a 1 minute take. It's supposed to be a minute. Usually goes to about 2. Just whatever topical thing we want to talk about. Sometimes people just share their lives. Sometimes we just somehow get into an argument again. whatever. You never know. This is the variable. This is the X factor. This is the game changer. This is just full on each of us as an individual opposed to a show. So, Kenny, why don't you go ahead and go first since you usually go first anyways.
Alright, I could honestly say it's funny how this podcast has kind of helped structure my life out. Because I went through a really dark, depressing time. Pretty much the mid-November of 2015 all the way through like 2016. Just kind of getting, to an extent, blackballed and done dirty and set up, and so a lot of stuff happened at the end of that Sundial run. But it took a lot of time for me to actually sit back and enjoy it and enjoy the people that I came across, that I became friends with, that I work with. And this podcast kind of just helped kind of mature me in a weird kind of way. Because, like, I made a lot of sacrifices on plenty of days, plenty of weeks. Pete has too. Where it's like, man, I'm working, like, going through stuff, just exhausted. Me working day in and day out at my job, saving a bunch of money, having to pay for school, and just trudging through life and really just focused on some delayed gratification, finishing up college and everything. I can honestly say, like, this podcast has really helped me out a lot. And I've talked to other people, like my mom, people in my family I know have listened to it, and they're like, yeah, we like it. And really, I feel like just us since we started it, when we first met each other, and this isn't getting emotional, I swear.
Bro,
like,
you only have like 30 seconds, so I don't know. Get to your point. I thought you actually had something strong to say.
I said most of it already. Bottom line is, like,
you said you were gonna go off, so I'm just waiting for the buzzer to go off, I guess.
I used all that for the Tennessee thing. Pretty much said everything I want to say, dog. I said everything I want to say. Just letting you know, like, this podcast, like, when I look back, I'm like, if I didn't do it, I don't know where I'd be with my life.
Podcasting is life, is basically what you're saying.
We've done, like, over 150 easy.
Alright, so I'm cutting you off.
Please
you
do.
went already way over
Please
time.
Dude, I told you.
First of all, I want to shout out Darren McFadden for, retiring. He was the X factor, the variable, the one hope for
the bust.
One of the darkest times in Raider history. And yeah, he was a bust. And yeah, he had injuries. But he was always a class act. And other than that, I'm proud of this show getting this far, because even when we started out, we were like, okay, if we're going to do this and keep doing this, we got to take it serious. We got to do it every week. We got to commit. We got to have platforms. And we really did all that. And we haven't built the following yet, but it's coming, because we're like that hood spot you always drive by and you're always like, I kind of want to check it out, but you don't know if it's going to be worth the $8. So you're like, I'm going to go to my usual spot. But then when you finally stop by, you're like, damn, why haven't I been coming here for years? Because this feels like home and it's comfortable and I love it. This is the Touchdowns and Tangents Show. I'm Pete D. Camarillo.
I'm Kenneth Frank at Ozo Grande.
At Pete Certified, at TDs_tangents, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, iHeart.
You name it.
We're there.
Soon to be YouTube. We're working on it.
We're taking it right to the buzzer. So peace out. Have a good week. Stay safe.
No dope on Sundays.
And we're all not racist.